So I'm on roughly week 2 of getting back from running from my calf injury, and it's been pretty, well, it started off pretty scary, and I was a bit precautionary and was going pretty slow, but that's not always a bad thing. If you've been following along for the past few weeks of my training and vlogging, then you'll know that I've got a calf injury, or did have a calf injury. So I thought it was a good opportunity to let you know how I'm getting back from that calf injury with Zone 2 run training. So how did I get back to running 60 to 80k a week in 2 weeks? Well, I have a little bit of a secret weapon. I'll get into that in a bit, but in short, I've been taking it very steady over the past, I guess, 2 weeks since getting back from camp. So I took, I guess it was about 10 days, almost 2 weeks off of running completely, and then started coming back to it very slowly, nice and easy. I'm going to talk to you about the benefits of Zone 2 run training and how I'm integrating it into my training so that you can see how it is applied in a professional manner. Not going to lie though, was pretty terrified. I was well scared that I wasn't going to be able to run, because when I was away on camp, I took 2 strides. I was like, absolutely not, this is not going to happen. So taking my first few strides, I was well scared and didn't really know what to expect. So yeah, took it really slow. That first run, I was constantly thinking, is this going to work out? Is it not? And it wasn't too bad. I think I was overthinking it as well. So like, I definitely had phantom pain, ghost symptoms, which is effectively just where I was thinking that there was pain when there wasn't. That's natural. I was being hypersensitive, hyper aware of what was going on. This is where it could have been useful to have had the squad around me so I could just chat to them and make sure it's taking my mind off of my calf and just getting on with things. But they weren't here, they were still on camp, and I was back. This did also, however, give me the opportunity to run at my own pace. So I was able to take it mega easy and just really slow. And obviously it's all like relative. My steady and slow is about 5:15 per k, but someone else's might be 6 minutes per k or slower. So yeah, I think it's just important to understand what the relative ease is, what taking it easy really means for different people at different times. So first things first, it's easy on your body, and it seems obvious, and it's true. Like, your muscles don't get as damaged because you're running at a lower intensity, your heart rate's not as high because you're keeping a lid on things, and therefore your system isn't working too hard either. And this is really important for me, for example, because whilst I'm doing a load of training in the other disciplines, I don't want to integrate too much stress too quickly in something else as well, because then it will be really difficult for my body as a whole to handle that stress and be able to recover and to be able to go about my day-to-day activities. Keeping that system stress and the muscular stress low is important to be able to increase steadily over time your aerobic endurance. I obviously had a bit of fear of missing out, FOMO, whilst I was away on camp and everyone else was able to train properly, run after swimming, so missed out on all that social and whatnot. But at the same time, it was once again a good opportunity for me to get back into running slowly, take my time over it, and also not push the boat out in terms of distance. So I definitely would have got carried away and ended up running the same as what everyone else was running, or something similar to that. So it was quite good that I didn't do that. And that brings us on to point number 2. It does improve your aerobic endurance, and it does that because when you're running in Zone 2, it's making you really efficient at using the oxygen within your body. So it means that you're able to go further for longer. There's loads of scientific backing to this, so you're more than welcome to go and read up online about it, and I'm not going to go into the spiel, but for me, the more aerobic endurance running that I'm able to do, like Zone 2 and below training, the more conditioned that I get to be able to go faster for longer. And it definitely works, and I've got backing for this because I did it before Christmas and I tested on it. So I did no run sessions, literally no intensity whatsoever for a good 2 months leading into testing just before Christmas. So straight off of the back of my break, I then came back, only did aerobic running, so zone 2 and under running, and then came into testing in December, and it was my almost second highest testing data in terms of speed for heart rate and lactics that I've ever seen. And that's just because I did a load of like good volume aerobic training in zone 2, and that speaks volumes. Like it's ridiculous, the fact that I didn't do any sessions whatsoever but just did a good block of just decent volume, decent kilometers for 2 months enabled me to be as good as I've ever been. So if that's the same for me, there's no reason it can't be the same for you. So yes, zone 2 running can make you faster. Like there's no two ways about it. It can help.
So there's 2 things with easy running. One, you have to be mega patient with it, because if you're not, then you just end up running too fast. And it's really hard to run easy, which doesn't sound right, but to keep a lid on things, you have to be really disciplined and patient. Your speed will come up for the relative like input. So I tend to work on heart rate, and by that I mean for running I tend to run at a pace or an effort of about 120 BPM for my easy aerobic runs, maybe even under that. Like, it's important that you have an idea of roughly where your heart rate zones are, and just be on the lower end of that so that you can really keep a lid on things. So 1, you've got to be patient. 2, in order to be patient, you've got to probably mix it up a little bit, do different terrain and different routes, go exploring. And if you can, run with someone who's going to be patient with you and not push it, not half wheel or half step you, because that is counterintuitive. It's not what you want to be doing.
So number 3, it's a great stress reliever. I find that it's great to just get some fresh air outdoors, get out of the flat, get out from whatever you're doing, like in terms of business. Like I have been coaching, so doing some coaching and doing work and tutoring and teaching and stuff. Like obviously staying inside, doing all of that stuff, get a bit stuffy, and it's quite nice to just get out and about. And yes, you can say that I could cycle outside or swim, whatever, but I don't. I tend to do most of my training on the turbo and just go out once or twice a week on the bike, just because it's more convenient to be on the turbo, and terrible weather outside kind of limits me in terms of what I actually want to do outside or how much I want to go outside. So I definitely think that running is far easier to do that. It's a far shorter period of time to be spending outside. You don't have to get up dressed in all your clobber to go out on the bike. For example, you just chuck on a pair of trainers, a coat, and you're good to go. So it's a really good way of like relieving that stress from being inside most of the day, and yeah, just get out and about and get some fresh air.
Anyway, I've managed to get back to some decent volume. First week I did about 60k, this week will be about 70, 80. Again, this is relative to what I'm used to. I'm used to 80 to 90 to 100k a week. So scale it down, do what's sensible for you. And one of the big reasons that I've been able to do this as well is the shoes. So I've been wearing the Invincible shoes, which have a shed ton of Zoom X foam, which have allowed me to up the volume quicker because they protect your lower limbs. And by doing that, yes, it's probably deconditioning the lower limbs if you use them for too long, but all in all, have allowed me to get the aerobic stimulus from running and the mechanics from running that I've been looking for to keep on top of things and stay injury free leading into my first race of the season.
So one thing I always tend to do when I'm out and about running is listen to music or a podcast, or even actually phone people. I use it as a good opportunity to phone people whilst I'm out and about, which encourages you to keep a lid on things, keep it a nice steady pace, because as long as you're chatting to someone, it means that you're probably at roughly the right pace.
If you can relate to this, or if you found any of this useful for coming back from injury or seeing how I've gotten back from injury, do hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll keep on trying to keep you informed on how things are going. And they lead up into my first race of the season, Lanzarote. So yeah, all going well. Long course training going well. Bike fitness is all right. Swim fitness seems okay. Run fitness, getting there. We'll see.
So in summary, Zone 2 training is a great way of improving your fitness and getting faster. So yeah, running slower to get faster is definitely a thing. I would definitely recommend it, and I've seen the benefits myself in testing as well, so it definitely works. And yeah, you should do it too. Just do it properly, make sure you know your Zone 2 zones, your heart rate zones, and then you can be a little bit more specific as to what that pace actually is. I think that a lot of people get it wrong and tend to overrun or have their zones incorrect, this, that, and the other. So just try and make sure that you've got a good eye over it, you know what you're looking at, or someone else knows what they're looking at and can advise on that. On that note, yeah, do check out entirepc.com. I am coaching now, so do have a look, drop me a message or comment below, and we can see how we can help. But yeah, no, I think all in all, Zone 2 training, give it a go. Try and keep a lid on it. If you have to walk, walk. There's no harm in that. I walk up hills sometimes, especially if it's really hilly and steep. So yeah, give it a go. Don't be afraid to try it, and I'll see you next time.